This video is being brought to you by PROPS.CASH, one of the best research tools in the business. It's a tool that I use on my videos that you see. I've been using for over a year, and it's helped me a lot with picking props. Link is down in the description. Get 25% off your first month. Michael Porter Jr., 16.5 points. Biggest game of the night. They're fighting for a position at the top of the Western Division. Both teams were on the road last night. Both teams played last night. Both teams have to travel into Denver today. Michael Porter's projection is 16.93, facing Minnesota, who is ranked number one defensively against that position. Let's look at Porter a little closer. Live odds 16.5. Some places have pushed it up to 17.5. Well, actually, quite a few places have pushed it up to 17.5, but you can still get it at 16.5 on PrizePicks. Better. Dabble's pushed up to 17. Basically, everybody else has pushed it up to 17.5. We're going to look at it at 16.5. Porter only had 12 last night. He's only went over 16.5 in 4 out of his last 10 for the season, 54%. Head-to-head against Minnesota, looks like 50%. And this season, looks like 1, 2, 3. One game he had 26, and the other two he had 14 and 5. And we're basing it on this season against Minnesota. Coming off a bad game, I kind of like, a low-scoring game rather. I kind of like Porter leaning toward the over on 16.5. That's why a lot of the books have pushed it up to 17.5. He did play, looks like 28 minutes last night and only 12 points. I'm leaning toward the over 16.5 for Michael Porter Jr. tonight. Anthony Edwards, 27.5 points, projection of 31.24 on props.cash. I think he had like 50 last night. Let's look at some live odds first. 27.5 at a lot of books, 26.5 at PrizePicks. I like that line. 26.5 at Sleeper. I like that line. I like the over on those. 26.5 at JockMKT. 27.5 at Parlay Play. And 26.5 at Underdog Better and Dabble. These slight favorite to go over 26.5 on DraftKings, minus 130. And actually, you can get the under at even money. Caesars got him favorite to go under, and BetMGM minus 115 both ways. Let's look at Edwards a little closer. As I mentioned, he had 51 last night versus Washington in Minnesota. I mean, how many minutes did he play? Played 37 minutes last night. Played a lot of minutes. 51-point game. As you can see, he's only went over the proper 27.5. 2 out of the last 10 games. And let's go over to the odds again. Yeah, we do want to look at the 27.5. We can possibly take the over on the 27.5 here. The under, rather, on the 27.5. Everybody else got it at 26.5. Let's go back to props.cash. See how he's performed against Denver. Against Denver, he had 30 back on 319. And the 2 other games this season, he had 24 and 25. The others that you see in green here, looks like comes from 2023. Where he went over 27.5 every game. Looks like Karl Anthony Towns is cleared, but he's not going to play tonight. So you're going to be seeing the lineup you've been seeing for the last month or so. pull up the season 2023. He's went over 46% of the time. Last 10, 20% of the time. Last 5, 40% of the time. Last 15, 40% of the time. I know he's going to be super aggressive tonight because this game is for position, at the top of the Western Conference between OKC and Denver and Minnesota. They're right there bunched together. So I know he's going to be super aggressive. So even though he hasn't had good performances recently, I just cannot see him not being super aggressive on the road. Let's look at his away games. Away, pretty much the same, 45% for the season. Last 10, 50%. Last 5, 40. Last 15, 47. Last 30, 47. Let's look at his last 10 road. Last 3 road games, he has not went over 25, 17, 26. Here, 27.5. I'm leaning toward the 26.5 prop that we see over here. 26.5. We see it at a lot of places. I'm leaning toward the over 26.5. A few places got it at 27.5. We're going to stay away, but I'm leaning toward the over 26.5 points. We're going to stay with this game. We're going to pull a third one from this game. Looking at Aaron Gordon, and we're looking at his rebounds plus assists. His prop is 9.5. As you can see, a projection over here of 11.19 on PROPS.CASH. And let's look at his live odds. Live odds 9.5 still hasn't moved. Only place has moved it that on the Sportsbook that I follow is Sportsbook. They've moved it. Everybody else has it at 9.5. Pretty decent favorite over here on Caesars to go over and DraftKings to go over. Even money to go over. It's even a dog to go under over here on Caesars. BetMGM got him a decent favorite to go over minus 135. Plus 100 even money to go under. Now, this is a player that I'm going to put into my plays just based on what I'm seeing on the numbers from the books. I like what I'm seeing. That's 1+ so far. So let's look at Gordon a little closer. So went over this mark in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games. Numbers not even close. 14, 17, 13, 13, 12. He had 13 last night, it looks like. What is it? Let's see. Well, he hasn't played since 4-4. So it wasn't last night. It was a couple days back. So Gordon looks like he's been out. He's coming back. And that's another reason to look at the over on this. He didn't play last night. Not going to think too deeply in this. We're going to go with the numbers here. And we're going to take Aaron Gordon over 9.5 rebounds plus assist.